Hello, I'm Mrs. Bush, and I'm the music teacher that teaches general music and chorus at Shanksville Stony Creek School District. I wanted to document one of our projects that we've done with our 7th grade general music class, a STEAM project for science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics. How do we incorporate them together? Each year, when I teach 7th grade, I like to do a unit on opera. I think it's important that they learn that. What's more important though is how do you get people to work together as a team? How do you get people to creatively solve problems? We're training these young people to do a job that doesn't even exist yet. It doesn't even exist. You know how fast the world moves and how it changes. How do we do this? How do we get them to be creative, work together, be reliable human beings? In our vision statement in our school district, it says the Shanksville Stony Creek School District will achieve our mission by providing a comprehensive and safe learning environment which focuses on academics, the arts, technology, and communications to create responsible, problem-solving individuals who function as productive citizens on our ever-changing global society. And our mission is to maximize the potential of the whole student in a safe environment while maintaining the unique character of our community school. So, how do I do this by teaching opera? Well, normally in my opera unit, I do a lot of that. I've always have. I'll take pictures of an opera scene, and I'll have the students, I'll have them go around, I divide them up into groups, and they look at their picture, and they make captions for it. It could be about anything. They don't know anything about the opera yet, maybe. And they make little captions. Then we assign a group to a picture. They have to act out their captions. It's hilarious. A lot of them are video games. Great stuff. They have a lot of fun with it, they giggle, and then I say, oh, okay, this is from this opera. Sometimes I show the video, What's Opera Doc, with Bugs Bunny in it. Don't have any excerpts here, very copyrighted, but check it out if you want to watch it. It's a lot of fun. They get excited about that. Then I often focus on the opera Aida with 7th grade. It's set in ancient Egypt because I explained that operas are often set up in exotic places and times. Something that, what would it be like to live in the times of the pharaohs and the pyramids? I know that Mr. Kimmel, our history social studies teacher, teaches them a unit on ancient Egypt. So they already are familiar with this. This is just reinforcing his lesson. So we go to the library, and our librarian, Mrs. DeVries, she has books and information about ancient Egypt. We divide them into groups together, and then everyone gets a small topic on ancient Egypt very quickly, just reviewing. Then they have to present the class about mummies or pyramids. Here's a photo of one of our groups. They had asked to use that. It's a lot of fun. So now they know the background of their opera. We also studied the opera Carmen and learned about Cuban, African, all these influences on the Basque people that live in the mountains between Spain and France. And we learned about their music, their cultures. We even learned Christmas carols from the Basque. I wanted to make sure they understood these were a wholesome people because in Carmen they're portrayed and they're called gypsies. You don't want people to have a negative connotation of another culture. So we learned about the true culture. Dances, guitar playing from there. We're going to get into drumming later. 6th grade did some drumming. They did some of the similar units. We read a story by Leontine Price, who starred in Aida. She wrote a children's book, so we read the story. We looked at some opera fun times from the Metropolitan Opera that they put out that tells the story. There's ancient Egyptian board games they can play. We sing songs from the opera. We just study it until they're very familiar with it. And working in a group and having to come up with little scenes and presentations, that covers a lot of that. But how do I take this further? And for years I was thinking, Legos. Boy, I would love, that really puts it together. You got your technology, your mathematics. How do I fit these together? In the Eastern Division Conference recently, I spoke with a lady that teaches gifted children, and she also did something with Legos. It was a lot more elaborate with high school students in the gifted program, but she suggested a program called Tinkercad, and it is a CAD designing program. So I got into it, got the students signed up for school accounts, took them down to the computer lab, and they got to experiment with Tinkercad. How do I design my own projects with it? How do I read other projects? You can turn your CAD design into Lego bricks. So they played with it for a while. And then I assigned them in groups a little Dragonling. Can you build this Dragonling? What would it be like? You're turning around this three-dimensional design on a two-dimensional screen and trying to do this. So first, we had to come up with, can we get over 5,000 Legos? We did. I got them through a program called Donors Choose, where people from all over the country actually donated a little bit of money to purchase some Legos from our students. Then we designed our Dragonlings. Of this, a few people finished their Dragonlings or put a creative spin on it, and then it's time now to figure out which scenes from which operas. I tried to document as much of this as possible. Some were left out. Unfortunately, this project didn't get finished by the time our shutdown happened. We were just days away from finishing, so I was hoping to get documented everything by the time they left, but a lot of the designs are here in this. First, we're going to build sets from different acts and scenes from opera and Carmen. So I hope you enjoy some of these scenes. Also, the students, some of them chose to video themselves describing what they eventually built.
What do we have here?
Okay, this is the opera Carmen, and the scene is the smuggler scene. This is Micaela, this is Carmen, and this is Don Jose. These are the smugglers, and these are the gypsies. Micaela is sneaking in, and Don Jose is with the gypsies, even though he absolutely hates the gypsy life.
What are these two doing, these gypsies?
The gypsies are reading their tarot cards.
Ah, all right. Hey, thank you. Aida, explain.
Okay, so this is the parade scene, and this is Radamus right here with his swords and armor and stuff. And then this is their like floats, because we didn't have time to do it exactly. So this has the lute, the slaves, and then like that. And then we have a Queen SpongeBob right here.
Okay, I see that.
I mean, why not?
Yes.
And then we have a livestock animal, and then we decided to add a little spice to things, and we added Mexican do.
Okay.
And then we have our 2 royal guards.
Okay.
following the pharaoh, and that's it. And then this is Princess Ameneres in her guard, carrying this poor horse that is just carrying all of this alone.
And what about Ameneres' face? What about her face?
Her face is like that because she's very jealous of Aida.
Yes.
Because Aida
Yes.
is in love with Radames.
Yes. Thank you.
The pyramid that, as you can see, the Egyptian guards are guarding, because inside of this pyramid, this white building type thing that you see is a tomb that Radames is being buried in. And since Aida is in love with him, she tries to run in to get buried with him. And after this exact moment, sand starts coming and buries them both.
Thank you.
All right, so we pretty much have our designs finished. What do we do to take this to the next level? We already got mathematics involved, because when they were trying to build it, they'd say, I need a 6-piece. I said, well, what about, two threes, or okay, and then the math was happening, and then how to make it structurally sound. We also got tips from our art teacher, Miss Miller, who does set design, and she gave us some tips on how to best do scenery. Do you really need a whole car? If you have a car in a scene, which there's no cars in opera or Carmen or Aida, but you would just say the front of it, or just the back, or just the side. And so how do you take that space up and make it look effective? We did that. Now, how do we take this to the next level? Well, the intermediate unit lent us several of these things called Makey-Makeys, and they are a circuit board. Now the students have to figure out, how do we form a complete circuit? These little things are actually, they turn it into a controller for a computer. You can use different things. Anything that will conduct a circuit or complete a circuit. Play-Doh, bananas, other people. What can do it? I got a tray full of stuff that either would or would not work, and they got to experiment with their Makey-Makeys. They played video games, they played games that created bongos. They created different animations in a coding program called Scratch from MIT, where you'd have to code it and tell it, hey, if I press the space bar, this sound will happen, or this character will walk so far. So they played with that for a few days.
You ready?
Now, what do we do with these Makey-Makeys in our opera sets? Well, we have to figure out what works best for our project, and we decided to make switches out of cardboard and aluminum foil and bubble wrap. Where you press down the 2 pieces of cardboard, it will form a connection with aluminum foil, and therefore you complete a circuit and something can happen on your Makey-Makey. What could happen? We wanted to do things that would actually happen, like sand to fall in. We couldn't do it with these particular in this program, but we could get sounds to happen. We could get lights to come on. Mr. Barzeski, our science teacher, had some lights, and we didn't have enough for this particular project, so the school district got us some little tiny lights, LED lights, that could be operated by a Makey-Makey through Scratch. So we experimented with the lights. We experimented with sounds that Scratch already had in the program, but then we headed back to the band room and we recorded sounds. our sounds were songs that we already sang from the opera. We had a good time. We also recorded sound bites, like somebody said, I want somebody to say this when my character shows. When I do something on my set, I want this character to speak. So we recorded some of those. In the opera Carmen, there's a scene where there's a fight between two of the women, and there's lots of screams from the other women in the building. So can we scream? I said, well, I showed them how to do it safely. I said, well, you'll have to go around to the other classrooms, tell them it's okay. We're screaming, but it's okay. So they kind of had fun going to the cafeteria at lunchtime and different places. We're gonna scream, but it's all right. We recorded their screams, so hold your ears. I warn you when it happens. They're cheering crowds. We recorded them cheering like in a crowd, did sort of those things, sang songs. We also had the help of our band director, Mrs. Fosnacht, who helped with some of the students. We are going to go to see the opera Carmen in band and chorus in middle school. So I thought, wow, wouldn't that be neat if maybe a flute player could play something from Carmen. There are some things they can handle that are from the actual opera. She taught them these pieces. We have some students recording snare, flute, those sorts of things within band. And wouldn't it be neat when they showed up to the opera to actually hear what they just played? So when you press your switch down, that flute part would happen during that scene, or lights would light up. There's a tavern scene that Carmen hangs out with her friends with, and they have dances and all sorts of things. They get together, they meet the toreador, the bullfighter, and they wanted little lights in there to happen, like candlelight. There's a scene where there are people smuggling across the mountains, and they have a big cauldron, and they wanted lights coming out of there for the campfire, so we were going to do that. Just sounds of, in Aida, there's a grand song about praising the Pharaoh and going to war with Ethiopia and being victorious, and they wanted some of the sounds there. So we got some of our sounds together, recorded. They started to figure out how to get the makey-makeys and this complete circuit. Some used Play-Doh, some used our switches. And they said, Mrs. Bush, take a picture. We figured it out. Great. Oh, we got our light to light up. We'll try different. Okay, great. And I said, all right, we have 2 more days. We need to get this done. And they said, can we leave it out? Yeah, take a picture of it. Great. And then we had the shutdown. So we never got them to go around, put them on display, do it. So I wanted to film this for you so you could hear some of the sounds and see the projects. So thank you for your time. At the end of this video, you will see some links to MIT, for Scratch, for Makey-Makeys, to our local opera companies, to all the different people. I hope I covered everybody. Donors Choose, our intermediate unit, different places that they could see the opera or learn more about these different programs. Thank you so much.
Out of the way, peasants!
Go to Egypt, our great land, longish freely enter, and to our chosen Pharaoh, and to our chosen Pharaoh, we raise our triumph song. The ocean in, the ocean in, the ocean in, the ocean sea, the ocean sea, it goes to you and it goes to me. The ocean love me, the ocean you, the ocean heart that is ocean true. The ocean now is worshiping, as ocean flows, as ocean turn. The ocean do, the ocean rest, as ocean know you, the ocean we blessed. Thank you.